Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to make sure you do is deploy the test. So basically that means, so if you're under your test surveys and polls and you go to test, you'll see all your tests that are in here. However, I don't have any of them deployed. See, they all say no. So deploy just means that you're going to put it in your assignments where you want it. So if you go into your assignments, hover over assessments and click tests, you're going to see a list of tests here. I'm going to choose this test 1. You basically just click it and hit submit. You're going to want to go through and make sure that everything is the way you want it. You're going to want to make sure you have, if there's multiple attempts, you're going to have all this test settings the way that you want it, okay? And then just hit submit. And you can see now it's deployed. So now if we go down to test surveys and polls, we can see that test 1 is deployed in the assignments. Okay, so once you've done that, and you may have already done that part, and that's fine. Once you've done that, you're going to then go under your course tools, Respondus lockdown browser, and you're going to see what it's going to show here is any tests that have been deployed. So if it has not been deployed into your assignment section or wherever it is, your modules, then you're not going to see it here. So it has to be deployed first, okay? So you go in, you find your test that you deployed, click the arrow and hit settings. And the first thing you're going to want to do is click require Respondus lockdown browser. You don't need to give it a password. You don't really need to do anything in the advanced settings either, unless the only one I could think of is maybe if you have students using an iPad, you have to go in and specifically allow that. Same thing for like a calculator. If you want them to be able to use a calculator, you enable that and choose which kind. And then the next section, so if you are just going to do the lockdown browser, not the monitor, which is the webcam that records them. So if you're just doing that, after you set your settings for your browser, you can hit save and close. And you can see up here it says it changes the name, and you want to keep that name because any changes to it will throw an error, okay? So it says test 1 requires Respondus lockdown browser. So if that's all you need, you can be done. If you're wanting to do the proctoring as well, you'll need to go back in, and down here under proctoring, you require Respondus monitor. Okay, this is the automated proctoring, so basically it records the student as they're taking the test, and then you get a recording of it. And under the settings, you don't have to do any of these. You can check what you want. If you're not sure what it says, hit the preview button. Some of the stuff you can even edit. Any advanced settings if you need them. There's probably not really anything underneath here that you need to worry about. So you just get your settings, you get the setup the way you want, and hit save and close. And you can see now it says webcam, so that means it requires the monitor and the Respondus lockdown browser. Once you've done that, you're good. You can see if we go back into the assignments, it says the same thing. Test 1 webcam requires lockdown browser. Now you want to make sure you do the Respondus steps last, because what will happen is if you go into your course tools, I'm going to show you here. If you go into your course or your test surveys and polls, and say you go in here and you edit this. Say you would like to say you accidentally edit the name and you take this out. Or there's some other things that if you touch that it'll throw an error, but I just want to show you. So I went and I edited this. I don't remember what else it is that you edit, but it has it over here. So now if I go, I've edited the title, I've made some changes after I put Respondus on it. Now when I go into Respondus lockdown browser, you can see I've thrown an error. It's real easy. You just hit fix it to fix it, and it'll do that, okay? But just know that this should be your last step to prevent anything. If it's not working, that's the first place I always go check. Go make sure for some reason it didn't throw an error and you don't need to fix it. Right here it says to preserve these settings, Do not modify any of the following: name, opening test in a new window, require password. If you edit any of those, then it's going to throw that error. So pretty much if you just do this the last thing that you do, then you should be fine. But if for some reason you do have to go in and do any edits to it after you've already deployed the Respondus lockdown browser to it, then just go in and double check. That's what I usually tell everybody. So hopefully that helps. If you need anything more detailed, just let me know.